Hallöchen everybody, it's me again, Rafi, Aerosoft Content and Community Manager, and today we're starting a new series where we're gonna show you all 10 situations of the A340-600 Pro from Aerosoft together made with Tolis. And yeah, I'm not good enough, so with me together in the cockpit as a crew member, as a, let's say, a training captain and real-world A340-600 captain is Stefan again. Hello Stefan.
Hello, Rafi.
Good. So to let you know what to expect today from this video is there are three main things I want to tell you before we start with the situation. First things first, we of course want to show you the capabilities and the great functions of the Aerosoft A340-600 Pro together with Tolis. So to see how the add-on works in certain situations, because we do a lot of malfunctions in different scenarios. And the second thing is and I say we can learn something. Of course, first me, because Stefan is with me and will tell me, hey, how they do it in real life, right? So I'm gonna learn a lot, but of course you can learn also a lot from this. So this is a great way to improve your flying skills, because even me, as considering myself as an experienced VATSIM pilot, I am learning day by day when I'm talking only with Stefan, so that's great. And the last and most important thing is have fun together. So without further ado, let's go and jump straight into situation one. Have fun with this video. Good, here we are in situation one, and with the aircraft comes a very beautiful PDF file where you have all the situations explained. So to let you know what's gonna happen, we go in this first situation a little bit more, let's say, into deep dive. How the loading and etc., how this everything works, so you know it for all the further videos. We're going to jump this part because that's not so super interesting for you. So you get, first things first, the PDF where is everything written. So there is a mission briefing, all the settings, what kind of, let's say, flaps, gear, whatever settings you have to set up. So we're going through this in a second. And then you have two files where you can load, or you have to load. First is a weather file. I'm using Flow Pro here, for example, but you can use it also via the default menu. So you go into weather, and then you have the different weather scenarios. So in this case, is situation one here, and then you have all the other situations, situation 2, 5, etc., etc. So for every situation we are flying, you need the specific weather scenario, because otherwise it's gonna not work as it should. So this is the second thing you need to set up. And the last but not least thing you need to set up is going into situations and basically select the situation you want to fly. Today it's situation 01, and you load the situation. So when you have set it up, everything like this, then you're good to go. We are right now on active pause, just to give us ourselves a little bit time ahead to prepare the aircraft and do everything which is needed for the approach. And I will just read, Stefan, first, let's say, the flight story and the mission goal and what's the mission or the lesson to be learned. And from there on, basically also the starting conditions, so that people will know what's going on. And from there on, we go like by your procedure, as you would do in real life. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay,
great. So I just read it basically. So mission one, landing in Hong Kong, that means flight story. You are operating the Cathay Pacific flight CPA A331 from Newark JFK Airport to Hong Kong in an A340-600. It was a long intercontinental flight, but now you have to be fully focused in order to perform the beautiful RNP Yankee approach onto runway 25 left in Hong Kong. So that's our mission today. So the mission goal is land successfully at Hong Kong runway 25 left following the RNP Yankee approach. Okay, so that's our plan. And what we want to learn from the mission is management of a final descent, approach and landing, what actions are required and when. So that's what we're going today to what we're going to learn today. So to be a little bit, as we always say, or as you guys say in aviation, be ahead of the aircraft. So that's a big point today. And for the situation files, that's what I mentioned before, is we have to load weather preset situation 1. And the situation file to load is also, of course, situation 1, which makes sense, obviously. I won't read the whole name, but that's what you're gonna load. And for the starting condition, so that's where you need to set up the aircraft, is after situation load, the aircraft will be at 12,000 feet. That's where we are right now, so you can see that here. Just before the waypoint silver, so that's also correct. We can see that as well here. And we need to set up thrust levels into climb detent, so that's where we are here. Flap level 0, so that's also set up. and gear lever up. Okie dokie. So that's everything we need. And from there on, the situation starts. But yeah, long before the descent, you start with the landing performance, landing briefing, approach briefing, etc. So I will give you, Stefan, now the voice as an instructor, and I will try to do my best to help you out and hopefully land the aircraft later on in Hong Kong.
Very nice. Thank you, Rafi. So what we're going to do first is, as you said before, we have to prepare the approach in the FMS, which is already done with the star, with the standard arrival route. This is the Sierra 2 Golf arrival. We have the chart ready. And what we also need is the approach plate. This is the RMP Yankee approach. So when we prepare for the approach, very important is the briefing. So we start with the briefing, normally that we are reading out the standard arrival, as I did before, Sierra 2 Golf, and the MSA, which we expect in the approach to Hong Kong. This is 4,100 feet and 4,300. So the highest is 4,300 feet. Just keep this in mind when we descend below this altitude, then we have to communicate with the other crew member. So the approach into Hong Kong with the RMP Yankee approach is let's see, I have to put it on my chart again here. The minimum of this approach is 437 feet. We check in the FMC that this is inserted. I see, let's see, this is the wrong chart here. Let's see, runway 25 left.
Should be 518. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I was on the wrong. Okay, 518 is the minimum for category Delta, because the A340-600 is category Delta, so 518 feet. And the special thing we have normally, we brief the missed approach procedure then. So switch the airport button on the FMC, Rafi.
Okay, then I need to unpause the flight, so we do this. Boom.
Okay, yeah. Unpause, do it airport, and then you can scroll down to the blue lines, which is the missed approach. So the missed approach, climb straight ahead 5,000. Track 254 to Hotel 861. There it is. And proceed to Hotel 862 and 865. We have it all in there with the speed constraints of 185 knots. And then to Ludla. And the climb altitude will be 5,000 feet, which is not coded here. So we have to keep it in mind that when we start our descent, our final descent, then we have to put into the FCU altitude window 5,000 feet for the missed approach. What's now important, and you're still on the FMC page. Additionally to all other approach briefings, we have to check two things. The first thing is go on the proc page, please, Rafi.
Mm-hmm.
On the proc page, you see we have GPS primary in green, and the accuracy is high. This is very important for our RMP approach because we don't have ILS or a VOR approach or whatever, so we have to stick on the GPS, and what is very important, that we have two GPSs working. The second thing we have to check is, so I have to unpause it again, put data in the FMS on the right, data, and then position, GPS monitor. And you see on both sides, GPS 1 and GPS 2, you see NAV. And this is very important. You have to check that before. Okay, you can pause it again. So this is very important that you check this before starting the approach, because this is essential for the approach. And also in the briefing, finally, for an RMP approach, you brief the situation or your behavior in case of a malfunction. Mm-hmm. There are several possibilities that you get a malfunction in the RMP approach. If you get a GPS primary lost on the ND in yellow, if you have it only on the left ND of the captain or only on the FO or the first officer ND, this is not a big thing. You can continue the approach if you lose it only once.
Okay.
On one side. But if you lose it on both sides, you either can continue visually if you have good enough or fair weather to continue as a visual approach, which we have today. But normally you are an IMC. That would mean you have to discontinue the approach, means you have to do a go around. The second thing is nav accuracy downgrade. You saw on the proc page the accuracy high. If you get on the scratch pad in yellow, the message in the FMC nav accuracy downgrade. This is also not a problem if you lose it on one side, but if you do it on both sides, there is the high. Thank you. And if there is low, then you have to make a go around if you lose it on both sides. Additionally, I don't want to get too deep into this stuff, but additionally, you're not allowed to have a lateral offset more than 0.3 nautical miles. That was also lead to a go around. And also, if you're on the vertical profile later on and you exceed it below more than 75 feet from your normal profile, descent profile, then you also have to discontinue the approach. You see, it's really a narrow corridor which you have to accept, because you really rely on the coding of your aircraft in the FMC and what you see in the ND, and you really have to rely on it, and you must be prepared in any case as a pilot what to do if everything or something goes wrong. Okay, so the briefing is completed then, and one thing is also important, that's the last thing you have to do. If you switch from the approach controller to the tower controller, then you have to confirm the QNH, which is very important. And I think you can guess why this is so important. Because if you have a wrong QNH set in your baro, then your approach or your altitude or your height above the ground is wrong. So you can easily fly the aircraft into the ground before the runway comes if you have a wrong setup, because you don't have a ground size or a ground side facilities like the ILS, the glide slope antenna, or the localizer antenna, which gives you raw data from a different source. You don't have this. You have just the GPS laterally, but vertically you stick on your correct baro setting. So this is very important, and this is the reason why you have on the standard operating procedure, you have to check it again before starting the approach with the tower that the QNH is correct set.
Just to have a second backup, because usually you get the QNH already from the approach controller, for example, but then you just
but sometimes we experience this. So you have the QNH 1021 or 1012 from the approach controller, and you switched the numbers for whatever reason and switched 1021 instead of 1012. It's just a mismatch of 2 digits. But this is really, you can compare it with your altitude. It's sometimes really a big margin where you are on the wrong side. So this is just a checkup or another check that you're really on the correct QNH.
Okay, good. Okay, so I would say we unpause the aircraft. So from my side, the briefing is good. Yeah, I understood everything perfectly, which is okay. I would unpause the aircraft. In these terms, we have right now a transition altitude, so I would switch the QNH, and then I would suggest to go straight into landing performance calculation, which we can do also only when the aircraft is moving. This should be not that much of a time, and from there on we just continue the approach. Are you agree with that?
Yep.
Okie, good. So we unpause. The local QNH is 1015, so that's what we are setting up here.
Okay, so we have to set it on all 3 altimeters, on the standby as you do, and also on the co-pilot side. And procedural would be that you say, as a pilot flying, set QNH. The pilot monitoring is setting the QNH to 1015, and then set QNH, and we are just checking that our altimeters are the same. and reading out the altitude we are passing. In this case, it is about 10,100 feet.
Good. So what we can do also is your landing light on, because we're passing anyway 10,000. So I will do here the calculation. I hope the weather readout is correct. We have here for Hong Kong, more or less wind from the right with 7 knots, which is okay. And QNH 100 in Hong Kong, that's of course the real meta, unfortunately. So not that.
There's no problem. So we just take the real world weather. There's not a problem, I think. So just switch the QNH to 1010 to 10.
Okay, so then I will just switch here the weather to the live weather. Boom. So there we are. And then we can switch to 1010. Boom, boom, boom. That's it. Okay, that's good. So landing configuration full and conditioning on. Do you want to add something on the V app?
No, we don't need that.
Okay. Brake mode low. We'll see what we get from this. I would say.
Okay, now you see the V approach. The V approach 148. You see the stop margin of 1,301 meters. This is fair enough. This is very good with the brake mode, so the auto brake of low. And now you check in the FMC on the approach page that you have this also 148. So let's see. Was this? Yeah, 148 and 148. This matches. And I just saw something, Rafi, on the proc page. Please put in the runway. Runway Hong Kong 25 left. This is important that you have a readout. No. On the right. No. This is the wrong one. On the right side. On the right side. The line select key 4R. 4 right on the right side, because you don't want to. You don't want to. You don't want to update your position. Then you have a real problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, bearing distance. So this is what you wanted to have, yeah?
Yes. Distance. This is very important if you're IMC, just to have a checkup at 1,000 feet that you have approximately about 3 miles to the runway. This is a good checkup that your position is correct.
Okay, so outbreak is on low. That's good.
And I would suggest to put the altitude to 4,500. This is the first altitude we have inbound to Ludla. This is there where the standard arrival route Sierra 2 Golf is finishing up. Yep. Ludla is a mandatory 4,500 feet, and shortly before Ludla we will push the approach button to start the approach, and then we have to check our FMA, as we always do if we change any modes. And there have to be a final blue on the vertical side of the FMA, and a nav on the or approach nav in this case on the lateral side of the FMA. This is important to check us, because we need to know that we are correctly set for the approach.
Do I activate also here the second autopilot like I do on the ILS approach?
No, you don't, because it's not Rafi, it's not a precision approach. The second autopilot is only for precision approaches like the Cat 2, Cat 3 approaches, or also Cat 1, of course. You do this on the ILS, but mandatory is it for autoland that you have 2 autopilots on. But you do it on the ILS approach, also Cat 1, but never at non-precision approaches.
Okie dokie. So would you now here start decelerating manually, or would you leave the approach phase like here on the, where is it in the nav display, to leave it on the automatic, let's say, where it's switched automatically on, or would you prefer it to activate the approach phase earlier?
You can do this. You can do this, but be aware of the fact. Look at your PFD. You see your target speed is around 210, and you see the green dot speed there. So that means if you, it's no difference. If you activate the approach phase now, the magenta triangle of our target speed of 210 will disappear, and you will see the approach speed. The approach speed. And the aircraft holds the green dot speed. So you can do this already, because otherwise but you can also wait for the decel point on the PFD. You see there the circle with a D in it in the magenta. This is the decel point, but I recommend to be prepared. So in real life, I do it earlier because I would like to configure the aircraft earlier, not to get in any stress, because sometimes the profile is very, very tense and tight. Sometimes you really have to fight for your constraints. And so I recommend it to do a little early. But right now we are good with the speed we have.
Okay.
And this is a good moment to read the approach checklist, because we are on baro altimeters already. We have the seat belts on, hopefully. No, I don't see the seat belts. Can you switch on the seat belts? Okay, so now the pilot flying orders the approach checklist. So I can do it just for you. The approach checklist is baro ref. So we both are happy with the QNH of 1010. Both crew members have to announce that. Seatbelts are on. The minimum is baro 518 feet. The auto brake is on low, and the engine start selector, just look down, should be on norm. Okay, then the approach checklist is complete.
Perfect.
So now we have approaching Ludla. So now hit the approach button on the FCU. So now you see that you have speed Ulster, upnav, and final blue. This is exactly what we would like to see. That means that the FMA is all set for the approach.
Okay, do we descend now to the 3600 here? Because there's where the approach starts at Hotel 871.
You can do that, yes.
Okay.
And I would recommend to activate the approach rest now and set flaps 1 already to decelerate the aircraft, to configure the aircraft that we are able to get slower and are ready for the approach. So you see the S speed right now. You can set flaps 2 now. Very good. And now you see on the PFD, you see the vertical deviation in green. And below, you see that we are high on the approach. So we need to go down. So I would suggest to put the gear down.
Or I use the speed brakes.
Or use the speed brakes, either way.
Gear down. We're a little bit high. Was, I guess, too much talking.
Yeah, look, switch on the proc page in the FMC, and then you see the deviation.
600, 700 feet.
600. This is very good. This is not that high.
That goes down. Yeah.
Okay, look ahead again. Okay, so now we can set flaps 3.
Now I need to go further down because otherwise we don't catch it. Flaps 3, speed checked. That's a very tight approach here.
Yes.
Ah, there it comes now.
So now is the final approach. You can set flaps full right now.
Full speed checked. And missed approach was 5,000, correct?
Yeah. That's correct. 5,000 is set. Checked. So. This is the reason why you have always the proc page on, just to see the vertical deviation on this aircraft and the remaining distance to the runway of 6.6 miles.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you have to wait for the cabin, and then we can read the landing checklist.
Okay, landing checklist.
ICA memo.
Landing no blue.
Landing check is complete.
Okay,
So we check. This is the reason. This is the latest point where we switch to the tower, and the tower greets us and say, "Okay, Lufthansa. Oh, sorry, whatever airline, Cathay Pacific. You said 831. You're clear to land. Runway 25 left. The wind is 180 with 10 knots." And then we confirm the QNH, and he confirms, "Okay, QNH 1010 is correct." In this case, it's not that important because we are already VMC, so we see where we are. But if you're still IMC before reaching the minimum, it's very important to know that you're correct with the altitude setting.
Okay, so was this like unusual that we have been too high in the profile? I mean, it's very let's say a very how do you say very fast approach in terms of you need to be very, as what you said before. Yeah.
No, this is usual. Sometimes it's a little irritating because this you mentioned the V deviation bar.
Yeah.
This is the point where you really get irritated because it's below, and you saw you were 600. The thing is, this coded approach, starting from Ludler, the aircraft calculates the complete vertical path in one piece.
Yeah.
And the altitude of 4,500 at Ludler and 3,600 at Hotel 871 is different. So you have to go quickly down to 3,600, then you're on the vertical bar. But when you have a continuous approach, then it's different. So everything is good.
Okay.
So right now we passed it because
Continue.
I was talking, approaching minimum, and you see automatically the autopilot is disconnecting because it's not an automatic landing here possible. So you have to do it by hand, and normally you on the authorization required approach you can keep the flight directors on the normal precision approach. On the minimum, you disconnect the flight directors, switch the bird on, but you don't need to do this now.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 10, 5.
Spoilers, reverse green. Decel.
The wind was like a little bit crazy on the final approach. It was like changing heavily from left to right.
Yeah, we had strong winds, so it was about 22 degrees, still in 2,000 feet. So that was, the approach wasn't easy, I would say, because if you have turbulences due to thermal activity, it's getting even worse. So you see, it's a very tight approach. And this is also the reason why you have to have a special authorization for this approach. Not every crew member is allowed to do this, or every airline is not allowed to do these approaches. Very good.
Good. Okay, so let me stop here once we clear the runway, like so.
So did you understand that what I just tried to get to you? This profile is a continuous approach profile on the aircraft, and sometimes the vertical deviation, but you see on the PFD, is a little different. This is the reason why it's very important to stick onto your constraints and to your approach altitudes. Means Ludler 4,500, and then go down to 3,600 at Hotel 871. If you do everything, and the aircraft decides to descend slower than you expect, then everything is good.
Yeah.
And you see. It takes a while, but the final approach comes into the FMA. But if this does not come, and these are one of the golden rules of Airbus, if something happens not what was not expected, take over, means make a go around and start another approach.
Yeah, but because I mean, if you come from Ludler, what we have right now, it's like very, very tight to get to the 3,600, like nearly, it's exactly 900 feet, but nearly 1,000 feet. To get them off, right? But it's because we are not used to it, because we are used to it. Like if you shoot an ILS, for example, approach, you come from down the glide, and it comes from above, and then you catch it. And here it's completely different. You catch it from above, right? So that's a little bit
right.
unusual.
Yeah, and what also a little stressful, today we did a decelerated approach. It means that we are in the descent, starting the approach, start to configure the aircraft and reduce the speed. You can also do what we sometimes do on some or special non-precision approaches. You can start full configure the approach. So what that means is that you approach Ludla and configure all your flaps, all your gear down to the final approach speed and then start the approach. The advantage of it is that you really can solely concentrate on the approach. Right now we did 2 things or 3 things together. To see the vertical deviation, to configure the flaps, to configure the gear and everything. So these are distractions which you don't want if you have a tight approach like this.
Okay, that's a good final word. So, yeah, as always, stay focused. So the learning was today. Yeah, be prepared. I would say that's the most important thing today. And yeah, be focused and prepared, I guess. Okay, so
Absolutely.
I would sum up. This was the first situation of more to come. So thank you, Stefan, for being my training captain today. I hope I did not fail at all.
No, you don't. Well, it was very good. Very good. Also to stay calm, even if some things did not go like you expected it.
Yeah.
But you still focused on continuing the approach, and everything was fine. And yeah, well done. Well, nice landing, even in these wind conditions.
Okay, that's good. So thank you very much. And yeah, for you guys, thank you very much for watching this first part. Let us know down in the comments below if you like this, if you learned maybe something, and if you already did this approach. So if not, you should do this, because this is now a good opportunity to do that. Make sure to like and subscribe on this YouTube channel and this video if you like this very much. And see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.